You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
He's horned,
Rob Miller
ladies
with
and
the
gents.
5 bomb. He says LRZ is going to be a superstar. Mike, what do you think? You think LRZ has a chance to be a superstar?
We've said from the beginning he has a big uphill battle. He's acknowledged this. Mahomes even come out and said it just the other day. He was on Rob Riggle's podcast talking about him. We posted a short, said that he understands he has to learn things. He catches the ball funny. He's got to learn how to run differently, just different things. But I think he's got the attitude, and I think he's going to make the team. I'm back to almost like 50-50, maybe even 60-40 that he makes it, because I feel like this special team stuff's really going to sway and move the needle here.
Well, that's his bread and butter, baby. That's what he's got to do. He's really got to excel at special teams because that's going to be his ticket. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think the guy can be used in other ways on the offense, but that's just a bonus at this point because he's got a long way to go. He's got a lot to learn. So I think make the team as a special teamer and roll from there, man.
Okay, so we know how Andy likes to do a lot of like wild stuff. Like he goes out of the box. He finds these unconventional plays. He'll go back to the old Rose Bowl and do the 360.
Right. Yeah.
He's doing all this stuff, right? Snow globing and all this kind of stuff. Do you think maybe on some of these weird like 4th and shorts or whatever, you know how they get up and they do this rugby scrum? Do you think it's possible Zammit could take a snap?
It wouldn't surprise me not one little bit. Andy Reid does that with Jarrett McKinnon.
How fast
He's
do
done
we
it.
see it?
He's put Isaiah Pacheco in the Wildcat. He's done it with Travis Kelce.
Woo.
Dude, I don't think Andy Reid even cares, man. He'll throw anybody back. He might let me under center for a play. The first actual game is going to be against the Ravens on September 5th at Arrowhead.
Oh, yeah, that's a Thursday
kicking the
night.
whole season off. The NFL has to do it right, baby. They got to get the champs out there early and often.
And don't screw the pooch like we did last year at the banner ceremony. Kadarius. Look, can Kadarius just sit out week 1? Let's just not have a repeat of last year. Actually, you can repeat last year if we get the end result repeat.
So if we go back and look at it, can we blame the Kadarius Toney downfall last season on Travis Kelce having an ankle injury and Chris Jones not playing? Because I think that hurt us more than...
No. I think there was another problem there.
They're forcing the ball to KT, and we wouldn't have normally been doing that.
Yeah, I get that point. But I don't think it was that. I think it was the fact that Kadarius Toney missed all of training camp, and they just shoved him right in there with no game speed experience, and he wasn't even completely healthy, I don't even think.
100%. I think that's exactly it. I think they put way too much weight on that kid's shoulders last offseason.
Andy was a little horned up to get him in there.
Mike, they were out there saying he's going to be wide receiver 1. He's the Chiefs wide receiver 1. I think it was like a lot of pressure on him, and then like you said, he sat out with injury all through training camp. He came out cold turkey trying to play in that first game, and it did not work out good.
Patrick was asked today if you are still hungry to get that next Super Bowl, and he said once you have the taste of it, once you get the taste of that sweet nectar, he said it makes it suck even worse when you're not doing the off-season activities.
Once you win the Super Bowl, I feel like even to another extreme, like when you don't win it, it sucks even more because you experience the off season of being able to say you're the champ, and you experience.
Is his voice getting a little more
things and activities you're able to do because you're a Super Bowl champ, and you experience the feeling of just winning the Super Bowl. And so, for us, I'll speak for myself. I mean, when you don't win it now, it sucks because you know what it could be like if you were to go out there and win it.
Mike, it's addicting. Like, winning is addicting. Winning that Super Bowl's got to be addicting. They're like little crackheads out there. If they don't get it this time, they're going to be Jones. They're going to be itching, man.
They're jonesing, but I envy him. Why? Because ever since he's been a Chief, they've been winners. They've went to AFC Championship games. They're going to Super Bowls. They didn't win all the Super Bowls, but I mean, come on. Offensive line trouble, a lot of bad calls there. Got that Tampa Bay game just out of control really quick.
Yeah.
He was just left out there to just by himself. Tyreek Hill, the $30 million wide receivers, letting it bounce off his face mask. They couldn't catch
that
a
was
cold.
Darrell Williams, but Tyreek Hill dropped his fair
did
share
another one too. There was some bad stuff, but I envy Mahomes because since he's been associated with the Chiefs, and since the Chiefs have meant so much to him, it's nothing but winning because of him. But the Chiefs have meant everything in the world to me for as long as I can remember. We're going on 40 years, daggone it. And you know what? We wasn't always winning Super Bowls. It did suck, Patrick. Welcome to the show, baby. It sucked balls is what it sucked, okay?
Absolutely,
I don't want to go back to it. So keep winning,
Mike.
big dog.
We're just like the players. We're getting addicted to this winning thing.
We're addicted to being winners. I'm tired. We were losers all the time. Like, I will say this though: the Chiefs to be Super Bowl droughts and always getting to the playoffs and laying the frickin' egg or getting Lynn Elliott cursed. We did win a lot of games in the 90s. I want to say we were probably one of the most winningest teams, if not the winningest team in the entire 90s. And by the way, when we had Dick Vermeil and Trick Green and Priest Holmes, we won a lot of games those years. So we've always won games. But Mahomes has just turned it up to 11.
11? Look, right across the board. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Just crank it up to 11 here. Let's get it.
Dude, it's just a completely different thing now. Like, obviously, you love Chiefs football. We watched it religiously. We went to games, just like we do now. But that was with, Todd Haley coaching Tyler Palco, and it was pathetic and sad.
Well, those were some bad years. The the Fire Pioli with the bags over the heads and the flying stuff over the stadium. I don't want to have to ever endure that again.
We're not going back, Mike. I refuse.
That's why I said drafting Patrick Mahomes set this franchise over the edge. I'll firmly believe that could be the greatest pick of all time. But it goes very unnoticed that in the year 2013 offseason, we hired a guy named Big Red. And he come in, and I think he started it. He come in, he just nudged it. He said, look, I'm going to teach you how to win. Big Red's the man.
Big Red is? He's the greatest.
The greatest.
The greatest.
I remember when Pops told me, I was sitting at Roosters one time having a chicken wing. And I wrote him and I said, Pops, I feel it in my loins today. I said, the Chiefs are going to announce that they're about to sign Andy Reid. And he wrote me back. I've still got the text message probably from 15 years ago. And this guy says, oh, come on. There ain't no way they're going to make a good hire. And that's how you know. That's how you know that you were down bad Chiefs fan.
Yeah, you were down bad.
That's when you know you were a real one. When you're like, come on, they ain't going to do nothing good.
The funny thing is that same mentality Pop still presents today just out of pure PTSD.
Some of the older guys can't get over it.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand it.
Steve, even to this day, we're waiting for the shoe to drop.
Gamer Player said, loved Marty, but no offense. Every week was painful. Absolutely. We had Super Bowl teams then if we just had a little offense. Totally agree.
Marty teams with the Vermeil offensive teams, the Al Saunders offensive teams, man. That'd have been nice.
I feel like they always had one part, one piece of the puzzle. They never could just get it all together. And, even all the way up until Patrick Mahomes, I feel like he was the final piece of the puzzle, obviously, because I think Alex Smith had them at the cusp of actually doing something. But I don't know if Alex would have ever been actually able to get them over the hump. We'll never know. But Patrick Mahomes came in.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that year they blew that to Andrew Luck.
I think they could have won that.
I think they could have won the Super Bowl that year. We were a decent team, all around. And the way that they played in the first half of that Colts game, the defense was just shutting down Andrew Luck and that high-powered offense, and they were looking good. And then it just fell apart. And that come back to the old curse.
Your opinion, are we saving our cap money for Creed, Smith, and Bolton? Yes, I do think there's something to that. I think there's 12 to 15 million, somewhere in that range. And me and you, Mike, we talked about this either one of the live streams or a video we just did. And you mentioned that you think that they are going to go ahead and try to restructure some of these guys.
It's very possible. I mean, you've got a little bit of cap money now. I think what Brett's going to do is he's going to wait around camp and make sure we don't have any kind of injuries. You know what I mean? Because if you got an injury in a position where you got to go out and snag somebody, you need some insurance and assurance. Plus, you've got random camp casualties. So maybe Brett's got his eye on somebody from the 2021 draft and they up and get cut. He may bring them in. You might need a little bit of money for that. Once it gets to the season, I do believe they may start talking. Now, I think Bolton's already come out and said that he doesn't want to talk contract during the year. He just wants to play.
I love it. Got to respect it.
And look, I'm sure Creed and Trey Smith are like that as well. But if the opportunity presents itself, I think any of them would negotiate during the season. A lot of people in Chiefs Kingdom, it's become the cool thing to just trash Nick Bolton out. They just...
What is wrong?
They act like Drew Tranquill's the best linebacker on the team. And I'm thinking, look, there's statistic-wise sometimes that can back a Drew Tranquill. And then there are things that coaches and everybody in football players look for, and that tends to be Bolton a lot.
When is the last time that Drew Tranquill was the league leader in tackles? We can't even talk about stats here. I told you this earlier. Me and Mike had, had to meet up.
I love Drew Tranquill, but daggone.
Right, that's crazy.
The Bolton slander is out of control.
We met up earlier doing some work, had a little meeting, and I just happened to see a tweet on X while we were together, and I was like, dude, what is up with this small portion of Chiefs Kingdom? A lot of them work for one network.
Oh, yeah. There's one network that's just a bunch of Bolton haters.
Well,
and believe me.
They're ass anyway. But
I don't even watch it because I'm like, why?
Yeah, I mean, if you have an opinion that's that bad.
If your opinion is Nick Bolton can't play football, I'm not getting any other football opinions from you.
Yeah, but like, what is the deal? Like, what did Nick Bolton do to somebody? Like, because this guy's played like so well and been awesome, and I don't know. The slander is just unwarranted. But anyway,
well, they just think he's not a top 10. He shouldn't get paid the big money. It's a position that you can kind of go to the draft, or you can serviceably get a free agent, and they'll come in and do the same kinds of things. But it's like, well, you're taking the green dot out, and I know Drew Tranquil can do it too. And Drew Tranquil's a great football player, hell of a football player. But dude, I just like Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton's been integral in us winning some big games. He shut down Derrick Henry single-handedly. He is flat out.
Derrick Henry's daddy.
He destroyed the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Like, he was one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, we beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Him and probably that Kadarius Toney punt return. So, I don't know, man. I don't like the slander on our boy. But, Steve, if you had to rank it, like if you're Brett Veach, Creed, Smith, and Bolton, put them in order. What's your one? Who's the first guy you got to get, and who's probably your third guy? And then let's say one of them may have to get cut. Which one would you sadly say, hey, man, we just can't get it done? It sounds like you're taking Bolton.
Well, I think there's an argument that you can replace all of those positions through the draft fairly easy compared to like skills players or left tackle, like something like that. But here's my argument. Before I know it could go a lot of different ways for me, but just for the sake of this argument, I'm going to say Nick Bolton. And with the reason being that he literally is your green dot. Like, he's running your defense.
So he's your number one guy you would try to re-sign if you're Brett Veach.
If you're putting it up between the three, Creed, Trey Smith, and Nick Bolton, I'm going Nick Bolton. And the reasoning was he's the green dot. He's running the defense. Him and Spags have a great relationship. He trusts him. I think that would be more detrimental to the team to lose something like that than to lose a guard. I mean, I love Trey Smith. Don't get me wrong. I love Creed Humphrey. And I'm not saying that there's no value to their position, but
so if you had to pick, who are you taking, Creed or Trey? Like, which one do you think you could replace? Which one do you think's got more faults? I mean, it's nitpicking. It's nitpicking.
Honestly,
let's be honest.
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to who gives the better contract.
The deal? Yeah, who gives the better deal?
Like, because if somebody chases money a lot, like let's say for instance, Creed Humphrey's trying to get more money than the Chiefs are comfortable paying him. They just drafted Hunter Norzad. Do you think they're going to care if Creed goes somewhere else? If you look at the Chiefs' past, they treat centers about like they treat cornerbacks. Mitch Morse
Centers
was
are
good.
kind of replaceable, and I'll tell you why. Because we're the Chiefs pick in the draft every year. You can just about snag the best center on the board in the first round if you need to.
Yeah, they could have got one this year.
And technically, you don't need to do that. No. But yeah, I'm with you. Hunter Norzad, but C.J. Hansen looks good. He's a guard.
I'm not a fan of losing any of those three, by the way.
No, I don't want to lose any of them either. That was just a hypothetical. But to get these guys, look, a lot of people are wanting us to sign certain players. And I believe you start digging into that $15 million that we got right now in the tank, I believe you may start losing some of these guys if you start digging into that 15.
Boy, Flapjack in the house.
Can you feel it?
He said, can you feel it, Mike?
I can feel it all the way down in my plums, getting all swollen, with a light blue hue to them, Ooh. Fresh and juicy, ready for the picking. Ooh. Hey, that plum looks good. Can I trade it for your Twinkie? Let the juice spill down my chin. No. You know what I mean?